Good morning, aloha from tropical Montana. Montana Skywatchers 1 and 2 on Facebook. This is Samuel Hofman. I thought we'd give you a little heads up. Today is, let me see, April 16th, 2017. Some folks on members have been asking about where the location of Saru was versus what we've been seeing in the sky, because we're seeing a new base cloud scenario where it's coming back to play right in front of the Earth here. As these planets pass by, some get larger, some get bigger over time. We've documented the transition as best we could in Montana Skywatchers for literally the last 7 years. What you have to understand is we have been watching these things on a daily basis. For those new folks out there who are just discovering the Nibiru planetary system, we have two suns, two groups of planets. They're binary solar system. They always have been, always will be, but on a regular basis, every 3,654 years, they come together as the two stars join, deal with each other, discharge, etc., static repel afterwards as well. It has to do with magnetic attraction in space. Okay, there's a lot of talk about a fake sun out there. Hui. There is a being made tool star on the side of Nibiru, but that's not something we need to get into right now. I just want to give everybody the heads up on what's going on. Anyway, back to member questions. Some members have recently asked where Saru was versus the transition of A2 and Uri, and Nepesity, of course, and Asatum. Now, Asatum has moved over to this side of the sun. Nepesity has moved back. Uri has been crossing over the top of Earth. A2 has been in front of her as always, because A2 is always in front of Uri for the most part, ever since A2's arrival, which had to do with not moreover it arriving, whereas we became in close proximity to the overall group, because these guys are in a straight line up and they're in a spiral, and a lot of astronomers and other folks out there don't understand exactly what's going on, but these things are thread links electrically. You have to, it blew me away when I saw them first time in photographs that they were in a straight line, and I was going, God, how is that possible? It has a great deal to do with Nibiru's facial tool star, which is up over here on this side facing towards the sun, which keeps them in alignment, so all of this works the way it works. But anyway, moving on. What has happened, and the reason that I've got this picture up, because this is a little dated, older picture, what has happened is Earth has been, this whole group has sort of changed angle, and Earth has been running between and under A2 and Uri and headed like that as they spiral around us, and it's a really goofy kind of orbit thing, but bear with me, for most of you, I just hope you kind of understand that we're transitioning underneath these, and they go like this and we go like that, and it's not exactly certain. Now, if I was off Earth, I could give you a heck of a lot better plot, because being that I'm sitting on a spinning ball and it's smaller than some of these larger things, anyway, you get the drift. So I'm always trying to describe this to you guys and draw stuff and as best I can to try and get the information out to you so that you can understand it. And you really have to get on board with this, because we're not making this up. We're not talking about rainbows and faces in the clouds and stuff like this. We're talking about comparative science that we've been doing for 7 years, and you really need to listen, because there's a lot of guys out there spewing hooey about this, that, and the other thing. And what we do at Montana Skywatchers is that we make sure that we talk about stuff that we have proof over. We're not grabbing one picture day one and go, oh, look at this, listen, this is what we found, oh my God, oh my God. No, we take 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 shots from around the world, and when we see what's going on a daily basis and a weekly basis and a monthly and a yearly basis, then we take all that information and we lay it out. We try not to talk about things that we don't know that exist. We don't talk about chemtrails anymore because we're so bored with them, it's unbelievable. Try not to even bother with lens flares, because everybody who knows what's going on will ignore a lens flare and expect it. And not only that, if you're taking live video feeds, roll your camera around so everybody has a chance to see what the lens flare is ahead of time. And as James Klingler says, put your thumb in front of the sun so you can actually see what's going on and you're not being blinded by the flare. Anyway, I wanted to throw that in for him, because he has a way of how he likes to have things, and I have a way I like to have things. And my eye will just bypass the light anomalies that aren't right. And I've done this so long, I immediately know what I'm looking at. Anyway, moving along. what everybody has been seeing lately is the close transition of A2 and Uri. Very large gas giants, both of them. Uri has stripes. It's white and very, very cold. Usually has a bubbly bottom, but when it's in space, a lot of times you'll just see these vertical uplifting, and even around A2 as well. Now, A2 has a moon, and it does this little offshoot thing, and it's a white moon. And currently, it's on this side. On this side of A2, if the sun were over here, it's on this side because A2 is generally moving to the left during the day. And those of you who are out there getting video footage of this, you understand its course and path. Because I mean, this is so visible lately. I don't know how the rest of you are not seeing this. Anyway. A2 and Uri, they move in during the day from sort of behind us, which is why the magnetosphere pictures have been as goofed up as they have been on the magnetosphere shots about the Earth. Anyway, this group has moved so much farther over the top of us that they've become actually huge. In a lot of cases, folks are seeing this basically filling the entire sky. And, you know, this is where the sun sets down here, and everybody is seeing this major round thing with this beautiful light blue area. Okay. Now, during this time, when A2 has crossed, and sometimes it goes directly over the top of our heads, there is the object cluster group as well, which a lot of you are seeing this right here. And there is these huge circular objects in the beginning of it, and then there's a rainbow hueing that's going on with it. I'll move this picture just so the letters show. But the object cluster group, we call it the OCG. Now, a lot of people call it other things, and I could discuss that privately, but I'm not going to try and fearmonger folks. But these are an active passing asteroid group that goes by Earth every day. We've even seen it come down and dip into radar. We've seen it in punch clouds, and ask yourself, what's a punch cloud? A punch cloud is something pushing into the top of our ionosphere into the cloud level and changing things. And so what is it? It's these. These are objects. There's a bunch of asteroids. Now the rumor has it that this is from the breakup of Tiamat. It's on the backside away from Nibiru, because Nibiru's way up over there and Saru's over here. But anyway, and now what a lot of people up close when this thing gets closer seeing, and this is just a quick crayon drawing, and yeah, you can give me a hard time for my crayon drawings, but what are you producing? Anyway, bad joke. A lot of you folks are seeing the bottom of A2, and it's really turbulent weather, and then the object cluster group coming in, crossing, and in some cases even going by at the bottom at A2 and way Uri in the back. Now, to answer your question, when you're seeing that, and the sun's over here, guys, Saru is way behind this mix back there, but she's back there, and we've been watching it. And in a lot of Mexico footage and stuff, we've seen a lot of debris separate of the object cluster group. There's at least 4 major groups, and that's shown up in some crop circles and everything like that. And if you want to talk to me about that, you guys can discuss that, because currently on Montana Skywatcher 1 or 2, I can't remember exactly which, we are having a discussion about wormwood. So anyway, moving on. What I thought I would do is tell you with the paper cutouts as an example, and again ask you to bear with me. The overall major thing is what, from our view during the daytime, when it changes when they go over the top of the head. It's because everything's dancing while the Earth is turning underneath. So what I generically try to do is say to you, well, okay, we've got the sun. Okay, the sun, this is sunset in the west. Now, a lot of what we're seeing is Saru between us and the sun, so she's casting this dark blue shadow. We got Nibiru. We got the little tool star showing up, and everybody is seeing the shaft lighting. There's this purple or blue shaft light on this side of the sun. That is the tool star. Now, for those of you who want to ask the question, well, is that the fake sun? No, it's a totally different thing than certain people's fake sun, which, oh my God, I could wring some necks. But anyway, we won't go over to that. Then for the longest time, we've had Nepesity up in our face, and she was over the top of us, and then she went over here, and now she's starting to move back. So Nepesity is blocking Saru, and that's why I did not include it in this recent drawing. Okay, the recent drawing went from A2 and Uri and everybody being this close. Now, this was, of course, in March. Now, the new changes and I posted this yesterday for everybody, is Uri has gotten way, way bigger from there to here. She was transitioning from behind us and then going off and then heading up that direction. But now Uri is way over the top of us. So what you could actually attribute this to is Earth has moved in the direction underneath her, so she is now much, much bigger. Now we know that A2 travels very close to Uri all the time. Isatum is getting bigger, coming up behind, and some of you are still seeing the yellow moon of Isatum, which is what caused the wing thing. Nibiru is not red, Isatum is. Nibiru is way back over on the right-hand side. Huge, massive blue, purple, blue, but more blue than the purple A2. Now, A2 has a white moon. In a lot of pictures, that's all they're seeing. They're all freaking out. Oh, there's Nibiru, there's Nibiru. This is the white moon of A2. You guys have really got to get on board. These things are huge. You should see them. Now, back again. Currently, the object cluster group is rounding A2 because this overall has transitioned from it being close to certain things, and at one time it was coming out from behind Nepacity. But all of this is transitioning, which leads me to believe that I think we're seriously affected at the outside of the Nibiru group planetary orbit right now. Excuse me. And there's going to be some changes, some transitions are really going to happen here. And I think we're in for a whole different show than we've seen in the last 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7 years. And the reason I'm trying to be dramatic about that is because I want you to know that these planets have been here and we've been staring at them for the longest time. You just got to get on board with this. It's really true. Not making this up, otherwise I wouldn't have all this information. It's just time-laden information. Now, A2 and Uri have been coming over the top of us, and then these would get smaller, but they've been settling down. Here we have A2's moon, okay? Now, Nepacity has settled back because Uri has been coming in over the top. So, but the point is, I'm showing you this striped white object. Now, when it gets close to our atmosphere and close to Earth, it changes color. And everybody needs to know that what we've been seeing for the longest time has been this cutoff. And there's an illumination that occurs on the face of Uri. We call it facially illuminated Uri, but I mean, it's basic, it makes sense. But the cutoff has been creating excuse me, a little dry throat from talking so long, a rounding illumination on the face. And everybody's been going, oh, what's this, a huge sun? No, it's not. The sun hasn't changed any size or anything. It's just that there's this illumination that goes through the edge atmosphere and focals into this egg-shaped round. And it's showing up on webcam after webcam after webcam after webcam. Now, A2 is still in front. It's got its little white moon, and the object cluster group has been coming along, and there's a lot of times there's this little wispy cloud that comes off the side of A2's white moon, and I'm telling you that because there are a lot of members that are getting photos, and I want you guys to understand that that thing does this similar, always directional thing, and in a lot of cases it'll be vertical. In a lot of cases, it'll be horizontal because it will lead over to Nepacity, which is in the back, and that cloud goes back. And now, depending on your point of view, if they're going over the top of you, it's going to be across the sky and filling the sky. But anyway, Isatum is behind Uri currently. Its yellow moon is illuminating and actually causing some solar events and some other stuff, because I truly believe that Isatum is very close to the sun, like in, maybe even closer to Mercury, which would answer a lot of the questions of some of those other sites are talking about, these distortions and wave things that they've been seeing. But I believe Isatum is moving over there. Boy, and with this new HD camera, I should probably, I got two new cuts. Anyway, sorry for being distracted. The Isatum and its yellow moon are causing some illumination refractions and the winged planet reactions. Now, there's a lot of what you guys are talking about, and when you talk about chemtrails and you see one, maybe two straight stuff, and then there's the times they're all over it. But anyway, I don't want to go too much into that. The point with it is a good portion of what we're currently seeing has to do with space clouds, either off the face of A2, the object cluster group, and they're dragging these ionized clouds, which ionization creates water. When you create an accelerated proton effect, then the things become positively charged, start dancing around, they start switching passing protons and neutrons and stuff amongst the gases and everything else, and you have space water. Now, Ben's been talking about that on Suspicious Observer. Fantastic job that he's been introducing that to everybody. But I'd like to point out to you that what we're seeing and then it lifts up, and then sunsets, and this whole thing goes like this. And then some of you are seeing at 10 o'clock at night, you're seeing this still illuminated dark sky even after the sun has gone down. And a lot of people up here in Montana, we're seeing it too. And then there's the red color that is affecting the trees in Canada. There was shots of that. I got that last night. Thank you, Corey. And anyway, and then the purple affects our skies as well. But at night, a lot of this stuff transitions because the planets are going down along with our view of the sun. So at night, all we're seeing is this illuminated light blue sunset in the north by northwest. Now, I've gone 15 minutes. And I just want to tell you guys that this is really researched. We've seen Canadian storms last month and stuff like that, and they were looking pretty darn scary and pretty radical. And these planets, they pass very, very close to Earth, and we've seen numerous examples of that in the last 7 years. I'm not guessing here. This is over time proven information. Now, there's electrical storms that transition between Earth and the passing planets. We live in an electrical universe. They don't crash into each other. Now, some of the smaller stuff from the object cluster group that's going around is starting to hit. We've seen hits in California. We've seen hits in Florida. We're talking firestorms. We're talking they've got fire down there. Well, okay, Florida's been a location of a major hit, a major passover, which tells me some of the small stuff is probably landing and causing all of these fires. You guys need to put this information together. We're not goofing around. We're not joking. There's a whole lot of stuff going on, and we've got numerous sightings going on from the Midwest, East Coast, California, Oregon. Christopher, thank you. Andy Pohl, he threw out a couple of really nice shots of Uri passing and A2 and the object cluster group recently, and everybody's doing a really wonderful job. And I'd like to name you all, but half the time I really what I need to do is make a list and actually just thank you. And in the future, what I'd like to do is put together a video where people say, yeah, I've listened to Sam's information, and yeah, I caught these sightings, and yes, these planets really are here, and I hope you guys would send it to me, and then James and myself will patch them all together in one nice movie, and then you guys can get your 15 minutes of fame as well if you want to do that. Now, I understand that it might be very difficult for you to openly admit that these things are real, but this is 7 years, guys. We've watched them come in since late 2009. We've seen the beginnings of the planets. Every time NASA was trying to point something out somewhere over out in the distant sky, if you look immediately behind your back, the real show is going on because they're trying to hide. They're trying to not let you know about this stuff because they don't want to freak you out, because there's a lot of people out there that freak out really easy. And on the other hand, there's a lot of people that want to know the truth. Now, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm doing this to you guys for free because I want you to understand how important this information is. I wrote a paper on this in 1980. I've known about the multiple planets and the binary solar system because that's what my paper was about, was the binary solar system by Samuel Hofman in 1980. We can't go into that too much more because I'd get a lot more attention if I did. Anyway, coming to the summation, whatever you want to say. Aloha from tropical Montana, Montana Skywatcher, Samuel Hofman. You guys take care, and let's pay attention to this stuff because I really think these asteroidal daily close passes are something we need to know about, and you need to know about it too. Have a great day. Thank you.